but evil lurks in the hearts of men.
Oh, what's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Who are you?
Explorers in the further regions of experience.
You did not find us. We found you.
If it goes out, it means the death of millions of people, everyone watching. Don't you understand that? Say it's a bomb, then say whatever you want. Say whatever you like, just get it off the air.
One.
Hey, welcome to Wanders Through Stargate. I'm your host with the most, G-Raj. This is my co-host.
Chris, the other Chris, not the original Chris. Let's go.
Yeah, he's a doppelganger.
I am the doppelganger of Chris. He saw me. He died. You know how doppelgangers work. We'll do an episode on that one day. All right. Anywho.
Oh boy, I usually only get this excited when they say the title of a movie in the movie.
We got our episode today is on Project Stargate.
He said it.
Project Stargate, perhaps you've heard of it.
Yeah, it's psychic shit, man. You know,
the CIA.
Like, you know, it's Miss Cleo, man. You call me up. I tell you where your money go. Your money go to my new car, man.
She predicted the future.
Man.
Not wrong. Yeah, it's the fucking the government wanted to make psychic soldiers that could spy on the enemies without having to leave comfort of that CIA sensory deprivation tank.
Well, it's the Cold War too, you have to understand, and it's just like everything else. It's like why we have the F-35. Like we made the F-22. It could pretty much smoke any Air Force, and it's like way beyond them. But then the Russians were like, oh, hey, we got something 10 times better. So we invent the F-35, and everybody's like, why did you invent that? And we were like, you said that you had something that was
stuff.
The better.
So we needed to make better stuff.
We needed the better stuff.
Because
but they were talking
America,
shit. That's right.
Fuck yeah. And in post, I'm going to put a bald eagle shriek back there.
There you go.
All right. Fucking...
The Stargate project, initiated in the late 1970s, was a clandestine endeavor of the U.S. Army, developed in collaboration with the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA, and the SRI International, a California-based contractor. Its primary goal was to investigate the potential of psychic phenomena, especially remote viewing for military and intelligence applications. This initiative reflected the Cold War era's intrigue and unconventional espionage methods.
That's fucking crazy, dude. Like,
it is. It's like we were trying everything to get
one step ahead of the Ruskies, man.
It was really James Bond shit because we didn't have. Now all the espionage is online and shit. Like then, you know, or
but like, could you imagine in a timeline not too dissimilar from this one, where we just fucking took this shit and ran with it, and now we're living in Minority Report?
Yeah,
motherfuckers
no shit, man.
Predicting the future, like, oh, you're gonna fucking shit your pants, and it's gonna cause some dude to slip and fall down the steps and die. You gotta get you for manslaughter.
You're in the middle of the city
in the future.
Yeah, you're in the middle of the city. You see a fucking alleyway. You're like, damn, I gotta piss, and you go to the alley. Somebody grabs your elbow. Hey, don't think about it, son. We know what you're gonna do. And they set you right. You're finally like, fuck it. I ain't even
You're about
piss.
to get arrested. We're arresting you for future urinating in public, and then you piss your pants, and now urinating in public.
Hey, God
it's like,
damn
son of a bitch. All because we gotta stay one step ahead of the Ruskies, man.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Project Stargate is a shitload of projects.
You got
it like rolled downhill. They got a project, they canceled it, they got it, they canceled it, they got funding, they lost funding.
You got Sunstreak, you got fucking Real Flame.
Yeah,
you
a
got
bunch of weird ass. Scante.
Yeah, Scante.
Whatever the fuck that was.
They're all different things, but they're all the same thing.
Yeah, because then
it's all Stargate project, man.
Yeah, it's Grill Flame was the first one because there was a bunch of. At first, we were trying to figure out what Russians were doing because we heard through our misinformation campaigns.
Yeah, the fucking our CIA spy network.
Yeah, like
shit.
Some of it, 50% misinformation, 50% information because misinformation is way more powerful than information.
Yeah,
and the CIA knows that
shit off.
Yeah, better than anybody.
It's like back in World War II when we found that dead hobo and we dressed him up in a fucking business suit with a locked briefcase handcuffed to his fucking body and threw him in the ocean right where the Germans were.
Yeah.
And fake credentials is like he's a government official, and
Yeah.
the Germans found him like we wanted him to with a briefcase full of quote unquote confidential information, and it was all fucking fake, and it worked, dude.
It
They
worked big
fucking
time, yeah.
they moved all their fucking forces to where they said where those notes said we were quote unquote gonna be, and we just fucking went right behind them.
Yeah, we do that all the time.
It's
Misinformation
like,
all the
goddamn,
time.
we didn't
Flat
know
Earth.
that would fucking work.
Anybody out there, if you believe in flat Earth, I just
I'm
want you
sorry.
to know that's a CIA psyop. So when you talk about the flat Earth, nothing else you talk about, people will listen to. Just remember that.
The Earth is flat. Also, I was abducted by aliens. He could have been abducted by aliens, but you led with the Earth was
I'd like
flat.
to
so
say
I'm not
lizard.
gonna
I'd like to
believe
say
it.
lizard people's a psyop, but I got a Muppet show I was watching, and his eye went all lizardy.
Don't
so
say
I
that,
don't
dude.
know,
The
man.
fucking CIA
They'll come
is
get
gonna
us.
get us.
Yeah,
man.
they'll
All
get us.
because you brought up lizard people.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But
This
like I
is going
said,
on the internet. People are gonna
we
hear
got
this.
we got confirmation in the 70s that they were that the Russia was spending 60 million rubles, which is like what, $3 American?
Something like that, man. No, give a little
it's a
bit.
lot.
It's like $7.
No, it's a lot of money, dude.
It's like $7.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of money. At the time, this is the.
Dude,
and
the Russians
remember,
aren't gonna hear this. They're
Well,
embargoed.
yeah,
man.
well, no, I'm saying remember that this isn't Russia. This is the USSR. You know,
So they're
in my
dead. Who are they
country, Waldo
It-
finds you.
It's
You know what I mean?
Soviet Russia.
Yeah.
Waldo finds you. TV watch you.
In Russia, TV watch you. So they started this program, and they're like, we got to figure out what the Russians do. So they started figuring out they were doing remote viewing. So around the 1970s till 1972, they didn't really have a name for it. It was just something they were doing. But in 1972, they called it Project Grill Flame.
Fucking all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah,
dude. Like
they-
fucking okay, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we
We're
are.
getting
Sorry,
ahead of
yeah,
ourselves.
no.
Sorry about that. But you know, information in the United States on psychic research in some foreign countries was poorly detailed. You know, we didn't give a shit about it until we pretty much figured out
Well-
that the Russians were doing. So the CIA and the DIA decided that because hey, why is our biggest enemy at this time fucking, you know,
You're
studying
spending money
psychics?
on
He's
it,
got-
yeah.
and like that's a lot of money. Millions of fucking rubles.
We're not always right because we thought the Nazis were building nukes because they kept hoarding all this uranium. And then we found out after a while because we were like, oh shit, we got to build this bomb. We got on building the bomb. They were putting it in their goddamn toothpaste.
Dumbasses. I'm sorry, but dumbasses.
Yeah.
But yeah, they decided, hey, if they're spending that much money on something, they must be fucking, you know, they must be getting results from it. So they started to investigate it and figure out as much about it as possible. Various programs were approved yearly and they were funded, refunded accordingly, depending on whether or not they found some shit. Went over and did reviews semi-annually, so like, you know, kind of, don't forget about it. Be like,
I'm
oh, hey, there's
imagining-
these guys, you know,
I'm
they're
imagining there's half the fucking people there like, yeah, let's get into this. Let's see if this works. And half the people are like, that's some bullshit, bro. What the fuck are you doing wasting money? You know what I mean? That's what I'm guessing it's like. It's like that with anything we talk about, really, you know?
Fuck yeah, dude. Fucking remote viewing was attempted with the results being kept secret from the viewer. You know, the person who's fucking seeing this shit. They didn't like tell them if they got it right or wrong.
No.
It was thought that if the viewer was shown that they were incorrect, it would damage the viewer's confidence and skill. This was standard operating procedure throughout the years of the military and domestic remote viewing programs. And feedback to the remote viewer of any kind was rare if it happened at all, and it was kept classified as secret. Remote viewing attempts to sense unknown information about places or events. Normally, it is performed to detect current events, but during military and domestic intelligence applications, viewers claim to sense things in the future, experiencing precognition.
In the past,
So-
there's that one psychic, he said he could see Mars. Like, he was, during Project Stargate, I heard
He said it. He said it.
one of the...
Edgar Casey.
Yeah, Edgar Casey. He was describing this society. He didn't know where it was. And he pretty much, after a while, him describing this society, figured out it was Mars like 1 million years ago or some shit.
Fucking Mars, man.
Yeah.
Fucking Mars, man. But no, it's like, it's weird. Like, they got a lot of fucking detailed shit going on about this.
I think that there was probably, out of 200 people, we probably had like 4 people that it worked with.
Like they actually got like legitimate
Yeah,
results.
197 people were bullshitting. No, 193 people were bullshitting, and there's 4 people that are like, well, I see a guy, he's in a Russian base, he's wearing yellow socks. And they're like, we don't give a fuck if he's wearing yellow socks.
It's weird that he's wearing yellow socks, but like, why do you care about that?
His wife's angry at him. Like,
You know,
tell me something I can fucking use.
It's like the fucking Jedi going to all those planets. Like, yes, like they might be force sensitive, but it ain't that great. But, you know, every once in a while, you'll get that one kid that's fucking throwing boulders.
Yeah, I'm saying.
You know? And you know what? They might have found some shit like that, man.
I honestly believe everybody's psychic. If you don't believe I'm psychic, if you're psychic, and you're like, there's no way I'm psychic, drive down the road and fucking stare at somebody while you're driving. I mean, keep your eyes on the road, don't crash and shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might.
You should let somebody else drive.
You know.
But I'm just saying, you're driving, stare at somebody, and they're not looking at you. They have no idea they're picking their nose or whatever. They will turn and look at you. It's what's kept the human race alive. It's why the soldier walking to the.
That's weird. I don't know why humans are able to do it. I don't think it's psychic. I think it's like
it's our sixth sense. We have
Avatar shit.
No, we have our sixth sense. I'm
have
telling
like
you.
10 senses.
It's why the soldier walks down the road and he just looks and he goes, "Fuck, get down!" And they get down and a sniper bullet hits the tree a second later. You know what I mean? You're like, "Holy fuck,
That's
dude!"
a spider sense. That's different.
I'm telling you, I've had it in my life too.
That dude's a superhero.
A couple times in my life, if I didn't have this thing that was like, "Mike, get down," or "Mike, move," I would have been dead, dude.
Oh yeah, it's happened to me.
You know what I
too.
mean? Like some people call it guardian angel, some people call it this. I call it everybody's psychic. It's just that we have 6 senses. Not everybody uses it. It's like every other kind of sense. You know, if you don't walk a lot, you're not going to be good at running. You know what I mean?
True. That is true. It's like a muscle. It's
So
a
I think,
muscle
but
you
I
gotta
think
flex.
with the whole like, you know, leaving your body like Doctor Strange, I don't think it works like that. But there's proof that these motherfuckers were doing that. And so, you know, in 1970s, the United States intelligence sources believe that the Soviet Union was spending 60 million rubles annually on psychotronic research in response to claims that the Soviet program had produced results. So they were thinking that they were checking out their base with a fucking psychic.
So the Russians were doing it because they thought we were doing it.
Yeah.
We were doing it because we thought the Russians were doing
But
it.
here's the thing: how do you protect, as a CIA agent, when your boss goes, "Okay, Johnson, how do we protect against that?" You're gonna go, "Fuck, I don't know, bro.
We need psychics.
Yeah, I need Doctor Strange in here. I don't
They
know."
got psychics. We need
Yo,
psychics.
call me
they
Professor
got the
X.
Avengers. We need the Avengers.
Yeah, I'm
man.
saying.
Fucking. It's like the U-Men.
So the CIA initiated funding for a new program known as Scanty, Scan by Coordinates, in the same year. So they would give these psychics the coordinates, like, okay, here's 37 degrees by 57 degrees latitude.
I need you to
longitude.
focus on this, and I
You know
need
that
you to
stuff
tell
works.
me what you see.
Yeah, maps.
What do you see?
So, in that same year of 1970, remote viewing research began in 72 at Stanford, where they also did MK Ultra and all that other crazy shit. In Menlo Park, California, proponents Russell Targ and Harold Puthoff of the research said the minimum accuracy rate of 65% required by the clients was often exceeded in the later experiments. Physicists Russell Targ and Harold Puthoff began testing psychics in 1972, including one who would later become an international celebrity, Israeli Uri Geller. Their apparently successful results garnered interest in the U.S. Department of Defense. Ray Hyman, professor of psychology at the University of Oregon, was asked by Air Force psychologist Austin Keeber, then director of behavioral research for ARPA, to go to the SRI and investigate. He was specifically evaluating Geller. Hyman's report to the government was that Geller was a complete fraud, and as a consequence, Target Puthoff lost their government contract to work further with him. The result was a publicly tour for Geller, Target Puthoff, to seek private funding for further research on Geller. So basically,
This man's a fraud.
it sounded like the army went in there and he was doing probably magic tricks, fooling the physicists.
Was this your
Well,
card?
like, hey, I'm bending this spoon by rubbing it on this part right here.
Floating a dollar bill
because
with
it's
some
made
thin
out of
string.
fucking weird metal. And the army guy's like, let me see that, son. And he's like, this is some bullshit, son.
Mike.
You know what I mean? Oh, shit. Did you just take your thumb off? Oh, my God.
shit,
Yo,
dude.
ladies and gentlemen, he removed his thumb. Oh, my God. Oh, it's back. Okay.
Hey.
You don't want to know what he just did, folks.
It was magical.
All right. One of the project's successes was the location of a lost Soviet spy plane in 1976 by Rosemary Smith, a young administrative assistant recruited by project director Dale Graff. In 1977, the Army Assistant Chief of Staff Intelligence, he started the Gondola Wish program to evaluate potential adversary applications of remote viewing. Army intelligence then formalized this in the mid-1978 as a mid-operational, and they call it grill flame, whatever that means.
It's a flaming grill, dude. It's the flaming
And then
grill.
Tarek and Puthoff went to go seek private funding to further research their work with Geller.
So, like, pretty much during this time, like, the government was like, there might be some shit to this, dude.
Yeah, because
we're sitting here like if the Army thinks it could be applied, then they're going to do it.
Because you know
And
what the
that's
best
the fuck-
part about it is they probably thought? It doesn't cost anything.
They're like, this is cheap.
Yeah.
All we got to
It's
do is feed
espionage.
the fuckers.
That's
Just be like, hey, man, here's a sandwich. Now, think real hard.
real
right, dude?
hard.
Use that third eye of yours and tell me, where are the Russians?
But like I said,
Can you find their psychics for me?
yeah,
man?
this lady, Rosemary Smith, she got within 2 miles of that plane from
she did
halfway
find it.
across
Like,
the
she
world.
was close.
She was
Like,
damn close. So
she gave coordinates, and she was only
It's
off
just-
by 2 hours.
it's
and
like
that's
that lady
fucking wild.
Sylvia Brown. She made all these predictions, all things. Like 98% of the shit she said was bullshit. But she was always on talk shows.
Modern day
Yeah,
Nostradamus
dude.
and shit,
Nostradamus,
making predictions.
They always try to say he predicts this, he predicts that, and it's like I did believe in Nostradamus until 1999 when they said all that shit was going to happen, and none of it happened.
and then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, but 9/11.
Yeah.
It's like,
Nah. Psychics, like I said, I believe everybody's psychic, but as far as you remote viewing, it's got to be 1 out of 1,000,000 people can do that shit. So if they had 200 people, then I think 2 could probably do it out of the 200, maybe 4.
And even then, it's really hard to tell statistically if not, like, whether or not they're.
Yeah, how
It's
would you
not
know
just
they're
a
lying?
coincidence,
Yeah, how
dude.
would you know they weren't just talk bullshit, all the
Because,
way?
you know, like, if you throw enough shit at wall, some of it's going to stick, dude.
And this
Throw
is the
enough shit at
70s.
the wall.
This is still when cops fucking work with psychics. Like, oh, where's the body? He's in some dude's basement putting lotion
Seen
in a
couple
basket.
Family Guy
And you're
episodes
like,
that,
oh,
man.
I feel like he's in the mountains. You know what I mean? The cops are like on foot all the
And then they
time.
go to the
Is
mountains,
this
and then they
scam
spend
fucking
3
psychic?
days in the
Yeah.
mountains, and they find them.
No,
Fucking,
I
like,
was thinking the opposite.
and then fucking this shit went on from the 70s all the way up to almost the 2000s, man. Like they had some developments in the 70s, like you said, like the Soviet spy plane and Operation Grow Flame. They got some shit in Operation Grow Flame.
Well, that's the thing. They kept renaming it because they had a couple different projects. So if they weren't getting results, they'd have cut it off at Grill Flame. But it went in from Grill Flame to Sunstreak to
Like they had that one dude at fucking Operation Grow Flame. Like I can't go into specifics, obviously, but he was sitting there and he was like using remote viewing to try to find a Chinese base. And the dude guy didn't tell him what he was looking for. It was like, all right,
show me what.
yeah, you know, here's a general
Yeah,
area.
here's the coordinates.
Find me something of significance here. And he was sitting there. He's like, I see a runway. I see 2 runways. They're kind of crossing each other in the next formation, but there's more than one of them, and they're in this weird pattern. And fucking, he's like, I see antennas going down the runways and planes taking off, and they ended it because he's like, yeah, all right. Now, what else do you see? And he drew pictures, and he drew it out, and he drew a fucking ramjet.
Oh
And
shit!
it was a specific model that was only at that one airport.
Yeah.
Like, so they had a couple fucking weird
so people
success stories.
Yeah, I'm saying there's, like I
Quote,
said, it's
unquote,
got to be rare
success
that people
stories.
can do it.
Because you got to remember, these are just random, like, quote unquote, psychics coming off the streets.
Yeah, well, it's
That are just
super
brought in.
classified. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
like super classified at the time, at least. It's not now, obviously, because we have
And
this
I
fucking
have
info.
to, like I said before, I have to imagine half the fucking people are hearing about it. Like they won't even hear what you have to say. In their mind, it's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the
it's like,
psychic
I
bullshit.
don't need to hear it. But you know, like some of it, like
There
even the
has to
military and the
be-
government couldn't explain some of this
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. There has to be, like when I stare at you, you know what the fuck I'm doing. You know what I mean? Without
Yeah.
looking at me.
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, like, you know,
If-
you look at somebody, you're like, you're ready? And they're like,
You know, it's
all
just,
right, let's go. You didn't say
or
nothing.
just like, you know, somebody you know really well. If you're in a situation that's either dangerous or it's funny, you can literally just look at the person that you love and you'll have a whole conversation without saying shit. Gotta
Pretty
be
much
something
like-
in that.
Or like, you know, like think about it like this, all right? Some people are good at, you know, music. Some people are good at drawing. Some people are good at math. Some people are good at, you know, some people are good at math. Some people are good at probabilities.
Yeah.
And some people are really good at probabilities to the point where it's like scary, where you like they say something's gonna happen, you don't believe them, and then it happens,
It's true.
and you're like, "What? Can you predict the
Well, I
future?"
mean, and that's why I say every second, okay, everybody out there in podcast land, listen to me. You're
Listen
sitting
up,
there,
podcast land.
you're thinking of your friend or your mom or your sister or your dad, and that motherfucker calls you.
Like out of the blue.
Yeah, and then
Like, you
it's
haven't
like,
talked to
damn,
them
I
in
was just thinking about
months.
it. How many times have you called them and it's busy because they were calling you?
You hang up.
It's just something like you got a thing. There's a
you
thing there
linked
that we
up.
don't
There-
know.
Yeah, there's like a fucking like a wire in the ether that
Uh,
surrounds us and
Can
penetrates
people
us.
move shit with their minds? Maybe. When I was a kid, like 13 or 14, I was getting into witchcraft. I took a penny and I drew a line on my desk in my room, and I would every night try to make it move.
Did it ever move?
I think so.
So it never moved. At least you didn't notice it.
Well, I
But it
think
might
so,
have.
but I had a brother who was an asshole, so I couldn't tell you 100%. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it did, but my brother couldn't
G-Raj.
fuck with
G-Raj,
me.
it moved.
Yeah, I'm saying. He couldn't fuck with me.
no,
So I can't 100% say that it moved, but I it's something I tried. You know, something I used to do a lot is I take a deck of cards and I just try to flick that motherfucker up and try to guess them. And I'd be right at 4 out of 10 times. You
Yeah,
know what I
but
mean?
like
Sometimes 3 out
statistically,
of 10.
that's a coincidence.
Not
4
all the
out of
time.
10. That's like
Sometimes I get 5, 6, but not all the time. I'm just saying, sometimes I'm good at it, sometimes I'm bad. Depends on how cluttered my mind is.
because you have
but,
to use the force.
In the 79, the research at the SRI was integrated into Grill Flame. So they took like the 2 programs and put it into one. Because the one's like research trying to figure out what Russia's doing, the other one, they're doing their own testing. So they put them together and called it Project Grill Flame in 79. When it was all put together, they named it the Center Lanes Project. INSCOM.
See, the 1980s, that's when shit started going
Oh
downhill.
my God, the cocaine
That's
was
what
good.
I don't know. I wasn't alive yet. But
They had their suits on with their sleeves rolled up, no
And then
socks, with dress shoes on.
in the 1980s, that's when the public started becoming aware of this, thanks to a little man named Jack Anderson.
Never gonna give you up.
Oh
Never
shit!
gonna let you down.
Never gonna run.
It's the 80s.
around
So
and hurt you, Jack Anderson, man. Jack Anderson is
yeah, well, he was a real reporter,
he's an
man.
American newspaper
muckraker.
columnist. Yeah,
you need
he's-
some goddamn muckrakers.
He's
in
that
this
guy who
country.
went up there and he needed the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So
Damn
help
right,
him
man.
fucking
See,
God.
we need guys like this. Okay.
This dude was good reporter. He was fucking one of the best fucking reporters.
Break it down. Tell me about him, Chris. Tell me about
He
him.
got that
We
fucking
need more
Pulitzer
American
Prize
heroes
in
like that.
1972.
See, and I bet you
for
there's a
his
shitload of people talking about Project Stargate before this motherfucker exposed it, and they were like, yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, right.
Conspiracy theorist.
And then you got this motherfucker who was listening to that shit. He got a Pulitzer Prize for it because he's the guy who investigated secret U.S. policy decision making between the United States and Pakistan during the Indo-Pakistani War in 1971. In addition to his newspaper career, he also had a radio show. All right, that had nothing to do with it. But this is the man who fucking dug into and figured out the guy who Project Stargate, the Stargate Project. He reported on the program in 1984, receiving negative feedback from the National Academy of Sciences. So, and because of that, it got defunded by the Army. And after it got defunded by the Army.
Well, yeah, they tried to
Got
deny
picked up
it.
by the CIA.
They were like, oh, what the fuck was he doing? You know what I mean? Oh, what the hell were they doing?
It was unfavorably received by the National Academy of Sciences and, the National Research Council.
Yeah, well,
In late 1985, the Army funding was terminated, but the program was redesignated Sunstreak and funded by the DIA, Science and Technical Intelligence Directorate.
Yeah, so if they're not getting any results and it's all fucking fake, why they keep doing it over and over and over? Because it goes from
because
grill
somebody
flame.
found something.
Yeah, it goes
and
from
reported
exactly. It goes from grill flame to INSCOM.
You don't spend millions and billions of dollars on something that doesn't exist, man.
Exactly.
It's the same
And then-
argument
and then
people
they
have
go to
with
Sunstreak.
like aliens now, man.
And in 1991, most of the contracting for the program was transferred from SRI to Science Applications International Corporation,
the
with
SASC.
Edwin May controlling 70% of the contractor funds and 85% of the data. Its security was altered from Special Access Program to Limited Dissemination. It was
And this
given
is
its
what it
final
actually
name.
became.
Yeah.
Project Stargate.
Yeah, this is
the
when they
Stargate
got the
project.
name Stargate.
Coincidentally,
Yeah.
coincidentally,
Said the name,
you see, not SG-1, which also, like I was saying, coincidentally, is also the year that the Stargate SG-1 TV show.
Yeah, it didn't really last long because they said by 95 they pretty much shut it down. And
Pretty much.
Yeah, they're saying it's not consistent enough. They were right 15 to 20% of the time.
Fucking
Statistically, like I said, that's everybody. So I think if they just, okay, you suck, you're fake,
we're
you
gonna
suck,
keep
you
you
fake,
guys. and
we're gonna keep you
fucking
forward,
building
and then
it up.
okay, look, we only got 4 reviews, but let's do it. You know what I mean? No, they had all these other people that were like fake, and like I said, it's hard to double check. So how would they know?
They were finally evaluated by the CIA in 1995, and that's when they said, "Yeah, you know what? We don't want none of this." But you know what I'm thinking? I don't think that they were fucking. I think they were defunded. They're not officially funded by the CIA anymore.
Yeah,
but I think that
exactly.
they got something going on, man.
But it could be something that okay, everybody heard about this shit. Let's back off and do something else, because of stuff like this with this, the psychic shit. It led a slippery slope all down to all kinds of other projects that were with psychic shit.
In 1985, the Defense Appropriations Bill directed that the program be transferred from the DIA to CIA oversight. The CIA commissioned a report by the American Institutes for Research that found that remote viewing had not been proved to work by a psychic mechanism. Instead, it had not been used operationally. The CIA subsequently canceled and declassified the program. In 1995, the project was transferred to the CIA and a retrospective evaluation of the research was done. The appointed panel consisted primarily of Jessica Utz and Ray Hyman. Hyman had produced, you remember Hyman, right?
Yeah.
You remember Hyman?
Yeah.
He's that guy who liked Uri Geller.
Yeah.
Fucking, the fraud.
Yeah.
Hyman had
He got
produced-
suckered.
Yeah, he did. Fucking Hyman had produced an unflattering report on Uri Geller and SRI for the government 2 decades earlier. See? But the psychologist David Marks found Utz's appointment to the review panel puzzling, given that she had published papers with Edwin May, considering this joint research likely to make her less than impartial.
Yeah, of course, because you want to be right. You want to be psychic. That's the
Like,
problem.
if you're psychic and somebody tells you you're not psychic, you can do whatever you can. to
Yeah,
prove
I'm
it,
saying,
especially if you truly believe it. And
Yeah,
you're
that's the
not lying.
problem with these people who are psychic. You're not going to get it every time, but every time they're going to act like they got it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You
They're trying
don't-
to show
like,
off and shit.
They're blatantly wrong.
There are other evaluations. 2 psychologists from AR, they assessed that the potential intelligence gathering usefulness of remote viewing. They concluded that the alleged psychic technique was of dubious value and lacked concreteness and reliability necessary for it to be used as a basis for making decisions or taking action. The final report found reason to suspect that in some well-publicized cases of dramatic hits, the remote viewers might have had substantially more background information than might otherwise be apparent.
So essentially what they're saying is that we can't use this to plan military strikes
Yeah.
because it's not much more than a guess.
Yeah, they're pretty much guessing, and
This is coincidence.
all the stuff that I think all the stuff that was accurate, it was not like, oh, you go down, like
Did you know that dead body was there?
yeah, exactly. You got
did you know
yeah,
that
exactly.
body was
Yeah, I
there
put him
too,
there.
Raj?
Yeah, put him there. That's just I'm psychic.
Oh,
No,
you're
I'm saying,
psychic? No, I think it's more likely that you did it. You did it.
You know,
man.
they were never like, oh, you take this Russian road here, and then you make a left down, you know, Yugoslav highway, and then you make a right down there, and then there's the base. It was never that. It's like, oh, well, this dude's wearing black pants. Or this guy's angry at his wife.
Uniform.
Yeah. I can tell he's real angry at his wife.
He looks Asian.
Yeah.
Really? I think it might be in China, a Chinese military base. Look how close he was.
Like that, and it's like you said, and a lot of the stories are the one guy described Mars 100 years ago or 200, 500
Well, you know, there's
years
some
ago,
cases where shit, like, you prove it wrong, you know, like, you can concretely prove it wrong, or, like, say, hey, that's a little more than fucking coincidence, but then there's some shit where it's like, well, how did she know that plane crashed there?
But this is also the time when it was MK Ultra was going on. This, because they were messing with people's brains, and
Hit
that
them
was
up
the
with
start of
acid,
it.
you know,
This led to, believe it or not, Project Stargate led to MK Ultra.
Or
And
MK Ultra led to Project Stargate.
He said it. He said it.
Yeah, you're right. I'm
MK
sorry.
Ultra led to Project Stargate.
Yeah, because they did all that stuff with the trying to break people's minds. They said, okay, let's try to find these psychic people, because there are people out there. I've seen videos of people moving shit with their brain, but it's like, is that fake video? Because I've seen it my whole life, like the old 60 Minutes video where that lady was moving the spoon. Was that just fake?
I mean,
You know?
oh, look, the pencil moved. Yeah,
The guy
keep it on
that
the table.
everybody that can bend a spoon has to touch it. But if you can bend it without touching it, then I'll be like, all right. But this lady wasn't touching nothing. She was kind of moving her hand, and it wasn't bending. It was just spinning around in a circle, but she was moving it.
Yeah, she was fucking, I don't know, maybe.
Maybe
You know
she
what?
produces more
There's
static
gotta be a-
electricity.
There's got to be a reason that we feel like we can move shit with our minds, you know?
Yeah.
There's got to be a reason.
No,
Like maybe
yeah.
maybe like you said, like out of 1 billion people, who knows? Fucking like a couple thousand might be able to.
I
move
saw
shit.
this Chinese monk, and he was just
Chinese monks can do whatever
went-
the fuck they want.
He had a
dude.
piece of paper on the ground. He was like, ah, and he put it on the ground, and it lit it on fire. And then this guy saw him that he was filming, and he got all mad. You saw him go like, oh, don't film. You know?
You can't- no,
And
no,
dude,
no,
the
no.
dude didn't have a shirt on or nothing on his hand. So if it was a trick, congratulations, it was a goddamn good trick.
Like goddamn, dude,
Yeah.
are you a firebender? This dude's a
Like-
firebender.
Like,
But if it wasn't for, if it wasn't
pyrokinesis
for
is
this
not
shit,
a
we
real
also
word.
It's not. It was invented by fucking Stephen King.
Yeah, it
a
was.
Firestarter. It's
It really
fucking
was.
pyrokinesis.
But it's a real world now.
it is a real one.
Like
But
Drunken Monkey's a real style now, but it was invented by Jackie Chan.
it was Drunken Fist.
Yeah. The movies are great, man.
I love those
They're good
movies, too.
comedies.
But like, if it wasn't for this shit, then we wouldn't have like the Men Who Stare at Goats. I love that movie.
Oh yeah, no that movie
Love
was
that movie.
that's based on Project Stargate. They just don't call it that.
We're driving in the middle of the desert, and you hit the only fucking rock for miles. What the hell were you doing? I was cloud bursting. What the fuck is cloud bursting? It's where you're staring at the sky.
Yeah, and all
Look.
this,
There it goes.
dude. They spent $20 million on this in 1 year.
Fucking $20 million.
And,
But according to the American Institute of Research, which performed a review of the project, no remote viewing report ever provided actionable information for any intelligence operation.
Yeah,
Based upon the collective findings, which recommended a higher level of critical research and tighter controls, the CIA terminated the $20 million project, citing a lack of documented evidence that the program had any value to the intelligence community. And, you know, I don't fucking blame them, because, like, rather than studying natural telepathy and clairvoyance, why not make a cyborg, dude? Like, make a fucking cyborg
Oh, I bet
that has, like, a fucking supercomputer brain that can accurately predict shit to within, like, 2%
dude,
margin of error.
they just throw bodies at shit. I wouldn't doubt it. They were like, oh, we hook up battery cable. We make you think smarter. Huh?
We no like you with one brain, so we give you 3 brains.
You remote view, huh?
You 3 times the man.
We make you chan. We make it remote view, huh? I'll do it, man. No, I'll do it.
Yes, you will do it, but this will make you better.
Yeah, but they basically said they couldn't justify spending money. They weren't getting any good results.
They really weren't.
Like it's probably cool shit, but they're like, oh, that's freaky.
Like, how do you study? Like, how do you study psychic powers without just being like, well, did you see it?
Yeah.
You gotta believe the dude when he says, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like
It's like somebody telling you what their dream was about. You don't know if
Yeah,
they're
dude.
lying or
I
not.
always hate when people are like, oh, this dream means this and this. But shut the fuck up. You
How
don't
do
know
you
that.
know? You can't see it. Like, how do you fucking
Yeah.
know? It
Oh, that
makes
means
no
stress
sense.
or this, but you don't fucking know that. Who? What? Are you consulting the manual?
Yeah,
That
right.
the human manual? Oh, let's see. Oh, that means this.
This is the
Fuck
troubleshooting
you.
guide right here. You know, if we just do this and this, you'll be all right. How do you know?
Oh, I can interpret dreams. Interpret this.
Or like hell is like fire and brimstone. It's like, how do you know? You've
Exactly,
never been
right?
there.
I'm
not. It's like
I always pictured hell would be quite cold.
it's like fucking X-Men Origins Wolverine when the fucking dude who could light the light bulbs. You know, he's like, I'm not afraid to die, and fucking Sabretooth's like, how do you know? You've never tried it before.
Yeah.
It's that shit. Like, you don't know. It's all circumstantial evidence. It's subjective.
Yeah, I wonder if
There's
they gave,
no objectivity to
They
this.
didn't say they gave him drugs or anything. I think they just laid down.
Well, it's because they tried the drugs, man, and the drugs didn't work. They just drove people nuts.
It was
And
reported.
made like fucking conspiracy theorists.
It was reported at the peak manpower that there were over 22 active military and civilian remote viewers providing data. People leaving the project were not replaced. When the project closed in 1995, this number had dwindled down to 3.
So there were like 3 fucking people in 1995. doing
One
this.
was using tarot cards. It's me, Miss Cleo. I work for the government now, man.
Oh no, it's the death card. That means that you are going to shit your pants, man.
The Army never truly had an open attitude towards psychic function, and hence the use of the term giggle factor. And the saying, I won't want to be found dead next to a psychic. But, yeah, because they probably
That's a
like,
funny saying.
they
though.
probably
I would be
went-
found dead next to a psychic.
yeah, it's probably in the 70s. They had this big like office, and it was all awesome, and they were all doing cocaine, and it was great. And by 1995, they were in a broom closet.
It was just like 3 old dudes in fucking
a broom closet. And
sitting there.
and they're all like super fake, and the one guy's like tarot cards.
I'm going to the fucking, instead of going to like the garrison fucking chaplain, you're gonna go see the psychic. He's like, I can't go, man. Instead, I'm gonna die now. I'm gonna die this time, man. If I go out on this run, I'm gonna die, dude.
Look, I don't know, man. There's been psychic. There's that
you
lady.
got
The lady Fatima, that lady that predicted the 3 predictions, and supposedly the 3rd one's about the end of the world, and the Vatican won't let anybody know what it is. But the first 2 predictions, she predicted World War I and 2.
Well, maybe World War III is just around the corner, man. They might be opening that vault
Maybe
up.
they should let us know.
Here, for those who are curious, are a list of the civilian personnel
Okay.
involved with this. You got Hal Puthoff. We mentioned him a few times in the 70s. CIA and DIA granted funds to Harold E. Puthoff to investigate paranormal abilities, collaborating with Russell Target and studying.
That's 2 guys there. Did you say you been that spoon? Holy shit. Did you see
Well,
that?
goddamn,
I
we're
need some
gonna go
funding
have
from
to
the
get
goddamn
there.
government. God damn it. I know I'm working hard, but let's get this done.
It's bringing back like fucking John Goodman and fucking the other guy vibes from fucking Kong Skull Island.
Yeah.
Fucking John Goodman and fucking John C. Reilly, I think.
Yeah, that dude.
And then you got
Sad.
fucking Russell Targ. In the 1970s, he started working on the Stargate project with that Puthoff guy, man. Fucking Edwin C. May joined the Stargate project in 75 as a consultant and was working full time in 76. The original so he went Batman style,
Okay.
freelance, and then
Yeah.
he joined the fucking Justice League.
Okay.
Fucking the original project
Nice.
was part of the Cognitive Sciences Laboratory managed by May. With more funding in 91, May took the project to the Palo Alto offices at SAIC. This would last till 95 when the CIA shut this shit down.
Yeah, but it's like, he kept trying to get funding and they kept giving it to him. He had to have
Yeah,
some
but
results.
this guy was the principal investigator, so he was the guy that went and saw that shit. He was the fucking judge. He's the one who decided whether or not it was real, and he was the
Okay.
gatekeeper. He was the one who decided where they were going to fucking investigate. So he was fucking Xavier and Cerebro. Ingo Swan, that's a fun name, right?
Yeah.
Ingo Swan, say it. Go ahead, say it.
My name is Ingo Swan. You killed my father.
It's got that energy, dude.
It does.
Originally tested in the phase 1 were OOB beacon RV experiments, whatever the fuck. Oh, out of body experience beacon remote viewing experiments.
Very
All
good.
right, look at that.
Very
See,
good.
oh shit, I figured it out. My brain started breaking. at the American Society for Psychical Research under research director Carlos Osis. That's a fucking. These are like fucking comic book.
Well,
names,
yeah,
dude.
dude. His
These
achievement,
sound like wizards, man.
his achievement was to break free from the conventional mold of casual experimentation candidate burned out.
He was a
And he developed a viable set of protocols that put clairvoyance within a framework.
Scientologist, dude.
Oh, Jesus.
He had a lot of thetans, man. He was level 7, dude.
Yeah, he developed a viable set of protocols that put clairvoyance within a framework named Coordinate Remote Viewing. In 1995 letter, Edward May wrote that he had not used Swan for 2 years because there were rumors of him briefing a high-level person in the CIA on remote viewing and aliens and the ETs.
That's
so basically,
crazy.
he went all Looney Tunes on him.
Yeah, he did. He just got. Well, he was a fucking Scientologist.
Yeah, well, they probably asked him to be on the History Channel. He got all excited, and they're like, "We're aliens at the Thanksgiving dinner."
hold on, let me see. Fucking do his remote viewing.
I see big black eyes.
Oh shit!
It's an owl. No, it's an alien. Oh.
Aliens were there. And then there was one more guy named Pat Price.
Okay.
Finally, a normal name. Fucking a former Burbank, California police officer and former Scientologist. Another
Jesus.
Scientologist who participated in a number of Cold War era remote viewing experiments, including the U.S. government-sponsored projects Scanty and the Stargate Project. So he was
to
there from the
refresh you,
beginning.
that was the first project.
That was the
the
first
second project.
iteration
Sorry,
of Stargate.
the second project.
The-
Girl Flame was the first. Scante's the second.
All right, yeah.
And then they all steamroll into
There's
Stargate.
just so much of this shit, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, well,
this is a
like I said,
wild
it
ride,
keeps.
dude.
They get fun and they lose one. Well, I'm guessing is half the people are like this bullshit. They have like this is awesome. They have something, but how much of that data did they inflate to get funding? You know what I mean? Was that a factor? You know, there's so many. You know, but the government doesn't do shit like this unless it works, man.
Yeah, he was the dude. He was the guy. Who worked with
Especially
maps
not
and
for what
photographs.
since 1972 to 95.
He would use maps and photographs provided to him by the CIA, and he's claimed to be able to retrieve information from facilities behind Soviet lines.
Jesus.
He's probably best known for his sketches of cranes and gantries, which appeared to conform to CIA intelligence photographs. At the time, the CIA took his claims seriously.
Holy shit! So it worked. Like I said,
Like,
there you go.
he was one of the hits.
Yeah, he was the
The
one.
others
Like you said,
were all misses.
yeah, they probably had out of the 200 people, probably like 3 people, maybe 2 that could actually do what they
Pat
wanted.
Price, the Scientologist, he had a lot of thetans, dude. His thetans were
Yeah.
off the charts. He had almost as many thetans as L. Ron Hubbard, dude.
But it also makes me think you're a fucking huckster if you're a Scientologist.
I don't know, man. He could have been the reincarnation of Xenu.
He was.
He was the chosen one, man. Even the CIA took him seriously. Nobody could see the future
Well,
like him.
there's also a military personnel. There's Major General Albert Stubblebine.
Stubblebine, dude. That is an amazing name. All these
Stubblebine.
names are amazing, dude.
And there's Millhouse, David Morehouse.
Everything's coming up
Joseph
Morehouse.
McMonagle.
McMoneagle. All right, so
All right.
here's Major General Albert Stubblebine. What did he do? What did he do?
He's a key sponsor of the research internally at Fort Meade in Maryland. He was convinced of the reality of a wide variety of psychic phenomenon. He required that all of his battalion commanders learn how to bend spoons.
I love Yuri Geller.
Yeah. And he himself attempted several psychic feats, even attempted to walk through walls.
That is amazing. Could you imagine seeing the Major General in his office?
Here's a little side note for walking through walls. CIA patent walking through walls in the 70s for some fucking reason.
Yeah, but could you imagine?
Why would they do that if they
General?
can't do it? Why would you patent that if you can't do it? All right.
And I don't think you can do it with your brain, though.
That's
I think
the-
you need technology to do
I'm
that,
just
man.
saying,
Like
yeah.
fridge.
I'm just saying, yeah. So this guy pretty much, he was all in it. They confused the Project Jedi, allegedly run by Special Forces out of Fort Bragg with Stargate.
That's awesome.
I
I
didn't know there was a Project Jedi.
told you there was a
Yeah.
fucking Project Jedi,
That's
man. It
crazy.
wasn't just the men who stare at goats.
Yeah.
It was a real thing.
Like I said, this is probably going on at the Air Force, the Army, the CIA, because the one from the Army went to the CIA because they stopped.
It was David Morehouse.
Yeah, and he wrote a book called Psychic Warrior inside the CIA Stargate program.
The true story.
The
It's a
true
long
story
title.
of a soldier's espionage and awakening.
Morehouse claims to have worked on hundreds of remote viewing assignments.
From searching for a Soviet jet that crashed in a jungle carrying an atomic bomb to tracking suspected double agents.
That's fucking wild, dude. I
Yeah.
want to read that book. I'm going to read
Right?
that book. Fucking Joseph McMoneagle.
Well, he claims he had a remarkable memory of very early childhood events. He grew up surrounded by alcoholism, abuse, and poverty. He had visions at night when he was scared and began to hone his psychic abilities in his teens for his own protection. When he hitchhiked, he enlisted to get away.
That'd be useful.
That's one of the bullshit guys right there.
But he
I'm
was
just
in the
saying,
Army,
just from
man.
that, just from him
He
saying
was
that.
this U.S.
Look, I
Army
honed my
intelligence
psychic-
officer, man.
I honed my psychic abilities to protect myself. I got into the League of Shadows and I trained with Ra's al Ghul for a while. I'm good.
I've been in the Lazarus
See,
pit 8
that's
times.
one of the fucking. I mean, even though he's Army, he's still a bullshit artist. I call bullshit on him. That's all I'm saying.
Ed Davis.
Yeah.
Davis.
He was
Davis.
one of the first 5 Army students trained by Ingo Swann.
That was his Jedi master.
His role was intended to be a session monitor and analysis as an aid to Fred Atwater rather than a remote viewer, but he received no further formal review training. But after his assignment to the review training at the end of '86, he was used to run remote viewers as monitor.
And provide training and practice sessions to viewer personnel.
Yeah.
So he wasn't able. He was granted a seat on the council, but he was not granted
So
the
they
rank
were
of
fucking
master.
sitting around and smoking weed because they had sessions where he saw Atlantis, he saw Mars, he saw UFOs, he saw aliens.
Yeah,
You
he's
know.
been on Coast to Coast AM a lot. You know, you better
Well, then
watch
he's
Coast to
definitely
Coast
telling the
AM.
truth if it's Coast to Coast AM. I love
George
that
Norrie wouldn't lie to us.
Yeah,
man.
no, he
George
wouldn't.
Norrie
Yeah.
wouldn't lie to us.
shit. No. But
This whole fucking thing has been just a wild ride, man.
it really has. Project Stargate was a
It was
real
fucking
thing. Like I said, that for them to go from 1969, 1970, to start on this, oh shit, the Russians, to break down timeline, the Russians are working on psychic. What do you mean they're working on psychic? They're trying to look at our bases through psychics.
So
Well,
then we're
holy
gonna sit
shit,
there and we're
yeah.
gonna raise our personnel. Well, we're gonna do that too. We're gonna be better at it because we're America.
exactly.
And it turns
Hoorah.
out that the Russians were doing that because they thought we were doing it, so we started doing it because we thought that they were doing it.
So if you're gonna keep doing it, it had to be like it probably wasn't great data. It probably was too sporadic.
Yeah, it didn't happen often enough to be viable.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, it
like
was
you
cheap.
can't really. How do you control something like that? Even if it is real, like how do you control something like that?
Yeah, and
You know
this
what I
is
mean?
this isn't speculation. We were reading all from government files. It's 100%.
I can't
Released. You need
read the
to look it
government
up.
files to you, but I can provide links to them.
Yeah,
I will provide links to all the government files
Yup.
that I've fucking found.
this,
If you live in the United States, can access these through
Yeah.
the Freedom Information Act portal on the CIA website. I'll
if
post
you
links
don't
to it.
think that your fucking government is just doing wild shit, throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks, then you're on drugs, man.
Because they're just people like us,
Yeah,
and they don't
they're just
fucking
doing crazy
know.
shit, and they have been. And if you think they stopped Project Stargate, you're wrong because
This shit's still going on now.
they're probably remote viewing with AI right now.
I can see that, or quantum computers.
Yeah,
Because we
they're
do
remote-
have them. We built them.
Dude,
They're
yeah.
not great yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah, they probably are AI and using AI to remote view because you think it could do that? You think it could be psychic?
I don't think it can see the future, but I think it can take all the variables and it can process and come up with a mathematical
Hey,
probability for what it happened.
Yeah, why don't you people write me in? Let me know if you think AI could ever have a psychic ability.
I'll make a poll about that. We'll
Yeah.
make a poll about that when we upload it. Yo, vote on the
Yeah.
poll. And I'll put another poll up on Twitter. All that information will be in
Yeah.
the description too.
But yeah, that's Project Stargate, man. It pretty much there's nothing.
If you think we sounded confused reading it,
Yeah,
you
it
just figure
is
it out for
confusing
yourself.
'cause
It's
it's-
fucking confusing.
that's how the government works. It's like they'll do it for a while. Oh, there's too many people. It's not really. We're gonna get rid of it. We're gonna do it again. People get funding. That guy went private for a while and he went back, got more funding. He went from the
Exactly.
Army, then he convinced the CIA.
They convinced the DIA, the DOD, all those fucking
In
people.
order to convince all the people, he had to have some kind of fucking evidence.
Yeah,
And
like
to
they
be able
had
prove
to
it,
have, they had to do something that convinced those fucking people that it was real.
Yeah,
man.
like the most compelling evidence I saw was that lady moving the spoon. She wasn't like bending it; she was just moving it back and forth, and it was like maybe she had a lot of static
you know,
electricity in her hand.
you know what the most like The Simpsons, man, they can predict the future.
Yeah,
the
that's
Simpsons,
true.
they've been predicting the future.
Yo,
for
that
fucking
shit.
30 years.
People don't
man.
understand that shit's kind of fake. But that one where Trump's going up the escalator and that dude drops a sign, there's no way that's coincidence. I'm sorry, they straight up predicted the future with
They
that.
fucking did whatever they could do to make that reality.
Unless
man.
somebody saw that episode and went there and made that happen.
or travel back in time.
Yeah, or something. I don't know. That's wackadoo.
That's wackadoo, man.
We'll say
Yeah.
that for our time travel episode.
We're getting
But
there. Anyway, stick with us.
yeah, dude.
Like us. Tell your
Next-
friends about
yeah,
us.
please tell people about us, man. Tell them to listen to us. We can
Spread
really
the
use
word.
your help. You know, we need people to listen.
Shoot us a follow.
We're
on
gonna really
Spotify.
work on getting us out some YouTubes, some Patreons, and everything like that.
We upload an episode every week, guys. Every
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Don't
next,
let last week fool you.
next week will be Blemmies.
We're gonna be talking about them blemmies.
Yeah,
And other
anybody-
European folk creatures.
Yeah. Anybody know Blemmies? The Blemmies.
You're gonna know about blemmies.
Yeah.
Blemmies.
But the Stargate, Project Stargate, it was a thing, man. Psychic fucking
That's
warriors.
just one of the many wild
Psychic
and crazy.
cold warriors.
Yes, dude.
That'd be cool. Psychic cold warrior. Dun, 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 dun. Oh shit! I almost broke into Dream Warriors right there. I know y'all heard it.
Anyway,
We're the Dream Warriors. That kind of fits too, don't it?
it does. It
Don't wanna
works.
dream no more. Anyway, thanks for joining
Ideas,
us on
food for thought.
yeah
Thanks for following us along with this
Yeah,
wild ass
definitely, man.
ride.
Project Stargate. And we will see you next week. Thanks for listening.
And we
Y'all
love
have
you.
a good night.
We love you.